Hey guys, it's me, and today I am here with a new video, and this video, I know it's going up a bit late, and when I say a bit late, I mean, yeah, this video should have gone up last week, but we're doing it today, filming it today, I'm gonna edit it today, and most likely I'm gonna be posting it today as well. It's gonna be a late upload for me, but it's gonna be even later for those of you out in Europe, because it's gonna be coming out in the wee early? Wow. Because it's going to be coming out in the wee hours of the night for you guys, most likely. So for that, I deeply apologize. It's either going to be the wee hours of the night or like the wee hours of the morning. I don't know. Time zones are weird. I should have filmed this video last week, but last week was a bit of a week for me. A lot of things went down. If you watched my reaction video to Michelle Carter by Skinned last week, then you know that my old laptop shat itself, and I now have a new laptop now, so I got that a couple of days ago and it's going good. I haven't edited anything on it yet. This will be the first video I'll edit on that laptop, so hopefully everything will go good in that department, which I'm sure it will. Because of that and other things going on around here and everything, I just completely forgot that the semifinals and the grand final were happening this week, so yeah, we're doing this shit now, and we're gonna go ahead and get things started. Today, I am gonna be talking to you guys about my top 10 favorite entries for Eurovision this year. I will say this, however, these are not ranked. These are just the top 10 favorites for me in general this year, because this is a very difficult year for me to choose like favorites, because there are so many amazing songs this year. But as some of you guys probably know, I did a series here on my channel in which I reacted to all the entries for Eurovision this year for 2021, and yeah, this is definitely a good year for Eurovision. There are so many strong songs this year. I mean, there are a few weaker ones and a few duds and whatnot. And I am going to talk about some of the things that I talked about in my reactions and everything, because you got to keep in mind, like, those reactions are like first impressions and everything. So things can change. So I have had some like thoughts and opinions change since filming those reaction videos, and so I do want to talk about them here as well. So I'll start out with talking about those before we dive on into the whatchamacallit, the rankings, I guess you could say. Like I said, they're not ranked in order of like 10 through 1 and whatnot. They're not ranked like that, or in terms of like how many points I would give to these countries. I mean, I'm an American. I don't understand the point system that much, really. I think it's like 12, 10, 8, and then down to 1, I think is how the point system works for Eurovision. I think. I don't know. I'm just here for the music, the performances, and the gays. So yeah. So let's go ahead and dive on into my thoughts and opinions on my favorites this year for Eurovision. So talking about that stuff and the other stuff in regards to this year's competition, we gotta do my typical intro, which is, if you guys are new here to my channel, don't forget to hit subscribe, and also while you're down there, definitely give this video a thumbs up, because that'll help me out a lot. All my links are down in the description box below, and yeah, let's do this. So let's start out with talking about like thoughts and opinions that have changed since I did my reaction videos. So it's been about a month since I did the last recording for the reaction series and everything, and so I've had time to like listen to songs more and let things marinate more and everything, because when it comes to these reaction videos that I do, they're all based on first impression. So a first impression of a song can be quite poor, or it could be something absolutely amazing, and then things can shift either which way. Because I know, for an example, like I was really all over and just thinking that Finland's song was the absolute tits, which their song is still really good, but I was initially thinking that they were gonna be in like top 10, top 2 status for me. But as I continued to listen to their song as well as other songs for this year and everything on my own accord and whatnot, they started like dropping down in the ranks for me and everything. It's not a bad song, like I mentioned. It's a great song, but it's not my favorite anymore. It started out really high and really fresh because it's just something very different and everything, because I mean, it's a new metal song, but I started like breaking things down and really paying attention to it and whatnot, and I was just like, I think this is mostly just like jerking off and like the nostalgia for me, and that's what it came down to. And once I took that out of the situation, I was just like, it's a good song. It's still a good song, but it mostly just tugs at those nostalgia strings and everything. Another thing that has changed is that I went from being like, I hate it so much, but I still absolutely love it type feelings for Texas song this year, which his song is Fallen Angel. He's representing Norway. I actually really do just now like no longer hate the song. I really love it. And after learning his story and everything, it just makes a lot of sense as well. It's a wonderful performance and it's a great song. I'm really curious as to like how it's going to register on stage during the semifinals and possibly even the grand final if he makes it to the grand finals. I don't know if he will, because to me it's still very much a strong song, but I don't know if it will be able to get very far. But at the same time, I think that it probably will, because something that I've noticed, Novimpia did a video where they talked about their favorites for this year, and they had mentioned that there are a lot of entries this year that are really playing off of nostalgia. And I don't know if I mentioned this during my reaction video to his song and performance, but it just radiates boy band energy, even though he is just a solo artist. And that is definitely like a big reason why like the hate it energy came from me and everything. But now, as I've just had time to let it marinate and everything, I'm just like, I'm putting that aside and whatnot, and it's just like, I'm just allowing myself to be like, you know what, fuck this shit. I love this. This is everything. I don't care if there's a part of me that hates it. I love this. It's ridiculous. It's over the top, but it's just wonderful. And this was a very controversial thing that wound up happening in the comment section of this particular reaction and everything, and that was Russia. I wasn't expecting people to get so offended by me, like with my initial reaction to that song being not the best and everything. Like, people were appalled. They were very, very aggressive. Well, aggressive sounds a bit intense, but people were just very, not having it. And again, similarly with Tix and everything, I wound up learning about, I can't even remember how her name is pronounced. I think it's Amnesia? Amnesia? I can't remember how her name is pronounced. After learning her story and just also like, again, listening to the song more on my own and everything, I've actually have grown to enjoy it and whatnot. It's still not a favorite of mine and whatnot, but I've grown to enjoy it a lot more. I still feel as if it's a little bit chaotic still, and I do wish that like the reveal would be something more exciting, but I'm actually enjoying the song now. I mentioned this in the reaction though, it is a very Russian song. It just radiates like very dramatic, over the top Russian energy, which isn't a bad thing. I think a lot of people might have interpreted that as being like a bad thing. I didn't mean that in a negative light by any means necessary. Definitely enjoy the song now. Is it, like I said, it's not a favorite of mine. It's still a good song though. I like it now and everything, so yeah. And in a similar vein, we have Estonia's entry. When I initially listened to it, I was just like, it's a good song, but the lyrics just seem a bit whiny and complaining, which to a degree I still kind of believe. There are some aspects of it that I do believe is just a little bit whiny and complaining, but I actually have grown to really love the song. It was actually really difficult for me to be whether or not I want to include it in my top 10 or not. Like, that is how much the song grew on me. I really enjoy his song this year, whereas last year I did not like his song whatsoever. His song last year was so weak, but this one is actually a very strong song, and I hope he does well in the competition. I really do. And like I said, like, it was very close to being in the top 10. Like, I made like a list of like, I think it was like 14 or 15 entries that I really thoroughly enjoyed this year, and he was on there. So he definitely made like my top like 14 or 15, but he didn't make my top 10. I still don't really care for the video though. The video just radiates like too strong of straight energy, and it just bothers me. And the last thing that I want to touch on is the comment that I talked about with the big five half-assing things when it comes to Eurovision. A lot of people got very offended by that statement in regards to France's entry. France's entry is fine. It's not a song that I particularly am like shitting myself over and everything, like a lot of people are. I know a lot of people are really enjoying France's entry this year, which, I mean, hey, it's a great song. It's wonderful. It's unique. It's different. It's fresh and everything. It's very different for Eurovision, and it's just really unique and whatnot. But it's just not really my favorite. I don't really care for it. I don't really have any strong feelings about it in general. But I do know that it is something different. And I did mention that in my reaction video for when I did my reaction to that particular song and video and whatnot, but I didn't make the comment about the Big Five half-assing it until like a later video, and so I'm guessing people didn't see my reaction to that. And then too, when I did my reaction to France's entry, I didn't give a whole lot of commentary on it to begin with, because it was just, I don't know, it was just more so like something that I was taking in and not really talking about. I don't have like any intense feelings about it whatsoever, but I still do think that it's a good song, and I do think that coming from the Big Five, that this is like a big step in the right direction for a country in the Big Five, because I know France, they have sent like, in the few years that I've kept up with the competition, they have sent like a couple of duds in my opinion and everything. Like, I'd say like the only entry besides like this year for France that I felt truly stood out was their 2019 entry, Raw. It's so hard for me to say that because of my southern accent kicks in and everything, and so it's very difficult for me to say the name of that song. But I really enjoyed that song though. Like, that song is wonderful, amazing, and Voila is also really good as well. I just don't like it nearly as much as I did Raw. But my thoughts and opinions still stand though with how I feel about the Big Five in general, that they tend to half-ass things. It doesn't mean that every entry from the Big Five is half-assing it this year or have done so in the past. It's just in general, I've noticed that they tend to half-ass things. Mostly looking at the UK. I think those are all the side comments that I want to make before diving on into talking about like my top 10 favorite entries for the competition this year. But I also want to go ahead and give another disclaimer real quick and say that this was a very difficult decision for me to do, because there are so many great songs this year. Because if you follow me on Instagram, then you know like each week I do a little thing on my Instagram stories called Current Music Obsessions, where I showcase like the songs I've been obsessing over from the past week, and quite a few of the songs that I've shown in that are on this list, but quite a few of the songs that I showed on those stories as well aren't on this list. So I do want to mention that you're probably gonna hear me not talk about other songs that I am absolutely in love with and obsess over. Like, for an example, like Croatia's entry this year, absolutely love it, but it's not in my top 10. But the first entry that we are going to be talking about is Greece, which is Last Dance by Stefania. I love this song so much. I talked about this in the reaction video. It gives me like a cinematic style version of Cascada, whom I love so much. Like, I grew up on Cascada, okay? Like, Bad Boy, Every Time We Touch, Dangerous. This song just gives me like that type of energy, and I just love it so much. It's very fun and has that cinematic vibe to it, which I really do enjoy, but it's still very dancey, electronica feeling and whatnot, and I just love it. I love it a lot. The next entry that is in my top 10 this year is The Moon is Rising from Samantha Tina, representing Latvia. I actually really enjoy the song. I know a lot of people don't really care for the song, but I absolutely think it's the tits. It's a great song, it's powerful, it's empowering, it's dramatic, it's fun, and it's different for Eurovision. You don't really see like these type of trap songs make their way into Eurovision hardly ever. And so I really love that it's something different for the competition. This was something that I was really excited about last year with Armenia, because Armenia's entry also went in a bit more of a trap hop direction as well. And I really enjoyed their entry last year, and I'm really curious as to how things would have played out this year. I don't know if Athena was going to be possibly returning for Armenia this year or not, because like I mentioned during my reaction series, and as well as all of Europe, you all know, but Armenia pulled out this year. But anyways, I really do hope that Samantha does really well in this competition, and I cannot wait to see how her performance is going to be, and I can't wait to just see her take on that stage and just live her best life. Alright, the next entry that we are going to be talking about, this was my first favorite when I first started listening to the entries this year. This was my first favorite. It's not very high up on my favorite list now, but it's still within my top 10, and that is Albania's entry this year, and that is for Karma by, I believe her name is pronounced Angela. I really love the song. It's really good. It's very, again, different. There aren't really that many songs that have like a sound that's very true to the participants' country and everything, like the country's culture and whatnot. This very much has like that ethnic type of vibe to it, and it's just very strong, it's powerful, has a bit of like a cinematic vibe to it. And I also wound up listening to the original version of it because this version that they are performing is the revamp, and I wound up listening to the original, and the original was pretty, but it lacked so much power, and so this revamp, they just went all over it with this revamp, because I think I talked about it when I did the reaction to the song, but last year Albania's entry was looking to be like my absolute favorite for last year, for 2020, but then they revamped it and took away everything that I liked about it. And when I say everything that I liked about it, I should change liked to obsessed over about it. But the original version of Karma, it was very pretty, it was very sensual and everything. It was very like touching and intimate and whatnot. But then this revamp was just like opened up the window. It just like came in. It was just like, I'm here, bitch. I'm really hoping that the song does well. I don't think that it will. This seems like it's gonna be like one of those underrated hits from Eurovision, like say like Israel's entry in, I believe it was 2013, Rock Bishvilo. When I discovered that song and learned that they did not make it past the semifinals, I was appalled. And all the comments were like on the same page. They were just like, how did this song not qualify? I don't know if this song will qualify or not. I really do hope so, because it's, like I said, this song, to me at least, in my opinion, it feels like it's like a Eurovision sleeper hit and everything. So it's one of those songs that's just like absolutely amazing and outstanding, but it's just one of those songs that just winds up flying under the radar for whatever reason. And I really hope that that's not going to be the case. I really do hope that this song performs very well. Albania is a country that I tend to root for in Eurovision, I've noticed over the years, because I've really kept up with the competition since like 2018. That's when I really just like sunk my teeth into the competition, and Albania has definitely been like high up there for me each year. Next up, we have a country that I honestly, this might be my favorite. It might be my favorite. I don't know if it's my favorite song this year. It's definitely higher up there on my rankings though, but it is San Marino's entry, which is Adrenalina by Senhit. I love this song so much, and when I tell you, I mean, you guys saw it in my reaction video, when I tell you I was shook when Flo Rida showed up, I was shook to my core. Like, I was not expecting him to show up at all, because I mean, like, an American artist popping up randomly in a Eurovision song, like, what the hell? I know a lot of people do feel as if like Flo Rida being part of the song is the saving grace for San Marino's song this year. I don't think so. The only parts that stick out to me and like stay with me are all the bits that Flo Rida isn't part of. Like, him being in the bridge is good and fun and all and whatnot, but he's not what makes the song. No, Senhit makes the song, and it's just amazing. I cannot wait to see this performed, because this song, it's so good. It is so good. It's so much fun and it's absolutely amazing. But I also know myself, and I tend to unintentionally fall in love with the underdogs in Eurovision each year. So it's just like, it might be a situation where I've fallen in love with an underdog again, and I hate that because this is a really good song, and a lot of people in the comments are actually saying that like San Marino tends to send very ridiculous songs each year, but this song is actually really good. They stand a chance this year, and I hope that they do well. I really do. I absolutely do. Next up we have Italy's entry, which is Zitti e Buoni by Måneskin. I love this song so much. This is probably the song that I want to win, honestly. Like, I would not be upset if Italy won this year. And Italy, from like the past few years that have kept up with Eurovision and everything, and really like I mentioned earlier, like I'm like really into and whatnot and keeping up with it and whatnot. Italy is like the country from the big five that should not be fucked with. They do something different and fresh and original each and every single year, and something that stands out and is actually something that could like go past Eurovision. Like, this is like a type of song that could play anywhere. Like, it is that good. And again, their entry this year, it falls into that same category. Like, it is a very great song this year. And it's definitely very much very high up on my rankings. It's probably my favorite song this year, honestly. It's just so good. It's like a legit punk track, and I love it. And I've seen like photos of like the band and everything. Like, there's one particular photo of the band where they're all in like these lace outfits and they're like in like a field or something like that, and it's just like, and you see like the lead singer's nipple just like peeking through the lace and everything, and it's just like, ooh yes bitch, like this is punk and I fucking live for it, okay bitch. I talked about this in my reaction video to that particular song and everything. Like, that fringy fishnet top that their singer is wearing in that video, I live for that shit. I want that top so badly. It is so cute. It's so hot and I love it. I need it. I need it. I need to add it to the fishnet section of my closet. Next up is probably another like top tier favorite entry for me this year, and is another entry that I would really love to see win along with Italy and San Marino, and that is Ukraine. And their entry this year is Shum by Goa. I am in love with this. I will say this, I'd still prefer like the original version of the song over the version that they're sending to Eurovision, but I still like it. I still really enjoy the song. I still love it. It's still very fun. It's got such a strong energy behind it, and I've started listening to like more of their stuff on the side and everything, and it's just like, this is like the type of music that I would have loved and obsessed over when I was in high school, because it's like very like industrial rock music, but it's like the very fun side of it, and I just love it so much. And I love the fact that they bring in like this folk element into their sound as well. It's really good. It's not like that really dark, chaotic side of the industrial scene that we saw in 2019 with Iceland's entry, like that really dark, intense side of industrial where it's like on the verge of like agrotech and everything. This is more of like on the lines of like harsh EBM and like the fun side of harsh EBM, and I am just in love with it. It's such a fun song. I'm really excited to see what they're gonna do for their staging, and I just cannot wait for it. Also, if you guys haven't done so yet already, definitely check out Shum's cover of Dancing Lascia Tumbai. Oh my god. I saw a comment on that video that describes it perfectly, and that is that they took a really fun and iconic Eurovision song and turned it into like a final boss battle theme music song. It is so good. It's so good. I love it so much. Next up we have Romania's entry, which is Roxanne's song, and that is Amnesia. I love how she pronounces Amnesia so much to the point where I am now pronouncing it this way, so yeah. It's such a great like dark, broody ballad track and everything, and just I love it so much. I'm really looking forward to Roxanne's performance on the grand stage and everything, because I'm really curious as to how it's going to register on stage and everything at Eurovision, because of the fact that it's a darker song. I'm really curious, because after seeing like the video for it, I'm curious as to how it's going to register live on stage versus in a music video. Because obviously in a music video, like, you can tweak things to make things work out and everything. I just hope that they're not going to like drag her across the floor as much as they were in that music video. Like, we're already existing in the middle of a pandemic. Lovato, don't turn Homegirl into a Swiffer. Next up we have To l'Univers by John Sears, who is representing Switzerland this year. This song is really good. It's a really beautiful one. I will say this, I still prefer his song from last year because I just love how raw and intense and emotive it was. But I still really love this song too because it's something that's still very raw and emotive, but it has more of like a bit of like happiness to it, if that makes any sense. I'm pretty sure it's still very much a sad song. I haven't read the translations for it yet, but it still has like that sadness to it and everything. But I just love it. I love it a lot. I'm really excited to see how this one's gonna pan out because I watched the Look Lab video that he did with Nikki a couple of days ago, or whenever it came out. I can't remember when it came out. Time is an illusion. Things run together these days. He had talked about how like he's actually gonna be walking around on stage and actually not going to be sitting in front of his piano like he normally does. And so a lot of people are very excited about that. I've never heard of him outside of Eurovision, so I didn't know that this was like his shtick and whatnot, to always be in front of his piano, but to see that he's actually going to be doing something different for the Eurovision stage is really exciting because it's just like people who have been keeping up with him for a long time are finally going to see something different, see him branch outside of his comfort zone. So I'm very excited about it, really curious to see how it's going to pan out, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to that high note. Next up, we have some really colorful stuff with Australia's entry, which is Technicolor by Montane. This is one that I am so concerned about when it comes to the competition. The only reason why I'm concerned about their performance at the competition this year is simply because they are not going to be there. Most likely the reason why they're not going to be actually performing at Eurovision this year, like physically performing there, is because of the fact that Australia and New Zealand have had their shit together during the pandemic, Lovato, and they're wanting to make sure that it stays that way, so they're not going to let them go to Rotterdam to perform at Eurovision this year. Instead, what they've done is that they've recorded a clip and they're going to send that in and whatnot. So I'm hoping that things go well. I'm hoping that it gets like well accepted and everything for like the Euro fans and as well as just like Eurovision in general. This song is so much fun. I enjoyed the song last year, but this song I love so much more, and I think it's because of the fact that it's just a bit more chaotic than the song last year, and it's also a lot more fun, and it's a bit more all over the place, and it just radiates some like really like upbeat, borderline obnoxious Kate Bush vibes, and I just am obsessed with it. I'm looking forward to this. I'm hoping that things go well for them because I love this song and I really just hope that it performs well. But since like things are so different for them compared to everybody else, it's making me so concerned for them. So I am hoping that they do well. I am so hoping that they do well this year. And the last song in my top 10 favorites for Eurovision 2021 is none other than Cyprus, with their song El Diablo by Elena. I'm still not going to try to pronounce her last name because it is very Greek, I think. Yes, I'm pretty sure it's Greek. This was another one of those songs where at first I liked it and everything. I thought that it was a good song, but I wasn't really that into because like, and I still stand by this. I do still believe that the chorus could have been done a little bit differently and it could have been a lot more electronic sounding, and I think if it were to be a lot more electronic sounding I would enjoy it even more, but bitch, it still made it to my top 10, so obviously I am obsessed with it. This song really grew on me. Like, I love this song so much. It's so much fun. It's got a lot of energy to it, and the funny thing about this is that during the semifinals, I'm not sure which one is first, but El Diablo and Fallen Angel are right next to each other, and it's iconic. Like, The coincidence is unreal with that shit, and I live for it. Elena, she is so beautiful. She is so beautiful, and I cannot wait to see what is going to be happening on stage and what they're going to be doing and just how it's going to translate and whatnot. That, kids, are my top 10 favorite songs for Eurovision 2021. I know this video is getting up late because by the time a lot of you are probably going to be watching this, it's going to be the day of the first semifinal, because I'm posting this today, Monday, as I'm filming this. It is presently 1:35 p.m. Eastern time, so I can only assume that it's like maybe like nearly 7 p.m. in certain parts of Europe right now, so sorry about it. I wanted to be able to post this video anyways, and I'm very excited about the competition this year. I'm still presently unemployed, so I'm hoping that I'll be able to take advantage of using a VPN to possibly be able to watch the live stream on YouTube for Eurovision for the semifinals and the grand final this year. I'm hoping I'll be able to do that. I don't know if I will. If I am, I will be so happy, but if not, then I'll just watch like the uploads for the semifinals online and everything, because I know that they'll pop up on YouTube and whatnot, so I'll just watch them then. But if I can watch that happen live and everything and not risk having things spoiled for me, I would very much love and appreciate that. As for those of you who don't know, like with me living here in the US, there are geo-locks in place to where I cannot watch the semifinals or the grand finals for Eurovision period on places like YouTube and whatnot, unless it's done through like, I think like what Eurovision did like throughout the year last year, where they posted like grand finals from previous years every other weekend or so, whatnot. Those are like the only ones that I can watch on YouTube. Don't know if Netflix US is going to get the rights to Eurovision 2021. I don't know if they are. I know they had the rights to it for a year for 2019. And I remember last year, it was like towards the end of last year, I wanted to watch the grand final for 2019 because I watched the semifinals, but I didn't watch the grand final, and I already knew who won and everything, so I was just like, I don't necessarily need to watch it right now, but I can watch the semifinals right now. Fast forward about a year, and I decided to watch the grand final, but it was already gone from Netflix, so yeah. But thanks to having a VPN and whatnot, I was able to watch it on YouTube, so yeah. Bypass those region locks and everything. Oh, and also speaking of the Netherlands, these are stroopwafel. I love these so much. I haven't had these in a very long time, but I got to thinking about them because watching like the Look Lab studio videos and whatnot, and seeing them hanging out and everything, I was just like, ooh, I haven't had those in a long time. Let me get some of those this week. I'm gonna go to the store. But anyways, that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you all will enjoy Eurovision this year for those of you who are able to watch it and everything, because like I said, I don't know if I'll be able to watch it live or not just yet. I'll find out sooner or later, and by sooner or later, I mean tomorrow when the competition starts happening. So I hope you all enjoy Eurovision this week. Whom are your favorites this year? Let me know in the comments below. I'd like to know how people are feeling about the competition this year, whom they're wanting to win. Are you in a similar boat like me where it's like nearly impossible to choose like a top favorite and everything? Like you have like a list of ones that you absolutely love, but that's all you can really do. Are you in the same boat as me, or do you actually have like a legit favorite this year? Let me know. I'd love to know. But that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and until I see you guys in my next one, whenever the hell that may be. Bye.